Hey everybody, this is JP Firepledge bringing you guys another part of Spyro 100% run. So, we have a little chicken that's already harassing us, and that means only one thing, that we are in the Beastmaker's world now. So, as with the other parts, we're going to be doing 100% of every single world in the Beastmaker's homeworld, as well as the Beastmaker's actual Beastmaker's world, getting every skill point, and getting everything that you could entail to get 100%. Alright, so as with the other parts, like we did in Artisans and like we did in Peacemakers, we won't be getting 100% of the introduction world right off the start. We'll be doing that. Oh, little misjump there. We'll be doing that once we get through the level. We'll be collecting gems kind of as we go. So we're going to jump into the first world, and I'm going to go ahead and grab another little butterfly, grab our first dragon.
Nasty Nork is turning our swamp into an electrified junk heap. And it used to be so beautiful.
I'm sure it was.
Alright. Then I'll go ahead and be quiet during the flying part, so we'll cut those parts out of the videos. But as I had said in the other parts, we're going to be starting to get into less tutorialized dragons. Now hereabout is when we completely stop seeing tutorialized dragons. They assume by like the 4th world that you probably know how to play by now, otherwise you probably put the game down. So we're going to head into Terrace Village, which if you want to check real quick, just so we can get an idea of where we are, we will get one of our only skill points in this world. We have Terrace Village with no electric floor damage and Metalhead with perfect. Those are the 2 forests in this world, so Terrace Village first. Okay, so one of the things that separates the Terrace Village and the entirety of Beastmakers from the rest of the worlds is, as you can see, a lot of these Norks. Originally we were fighting Norks that had maybe like, they might have had a little something special about them. They might have had a big club. They might have been using an axe or something like that to fight us. Here, these Norks have begun to learn the ability to use electricity, so we're seeing a development in a lot of Nasty's forces as we continue on in the game. Where originally he throws kind of the grunts at you, the guys that he wouldn't waste his metal on or anything like that, for lack of a better pun. And then you see, as we get closer and closer to Nasty, that he'll begin to give his minions a bit better armaments against our little fire-breathing dragon here. I think in the... oh, look at that. Got the no skydiving. So, letting us know that that is death. And it's a persistent theme throughout this world that the Norks actually... I believe one of the dragons we're about to come up on will tell us about it. That the Norks will actually electrocute the floor to keep... They are technically not invulnerable to it if you look at when their animations play when they actually get shocked. But they seem to get hurt. So they are in for... They really don't want Spyro to progress at all, and they are willing to take a hit to make sure that it doesn't happen. But they don't seem too terribly bothered by it. Guys, crazy looking. Don't look like a dragon at all. Alright, we'll hop up here, we'll see what this guy has to say. And as we had, yeah, let's see what he has to say.
Watch out, Spyro. The Norks in these parts have discovered the power of electricity, and it really stings.
Yep, like I was explaining earlier, the Norks in this area are electrocuting the floor, and a lot of the Norks in general have electric powers, or they shoot electricity or something like that. So, definitely seen a development and increase in the armaments of the characters, like I had said. And so we want to be very careful in this area, that while it's tempting to just run right through, we actually have a skill point that is going to make us want to hold back a little bit. So if we touch any of these electrified floors, we'll actually negate the skill point and not get it. So we want to be extra careful. We want to make sure we take out the little guys on the left who are actually proccing the floor to be electrocuted. We can still take damage, that's no big deal. Like, we can take damage from everything but the floor. So if like the big guy hits us, that's fine. If we get shot, that's fine. It's just the floor. We're almost actually done. As you can see, we have this floor right here. We have a couple more over this way. But once we get to the end of the level proper, that's where it counts our skill point at. And it's almost advisable when you're going through this part to just beeline towards the end and then come back for the treasure. I feel pretty confident about our abilities, so I'm gonna go ahead and collect treasure while we're at it. And if we do make a mistake, or if I jump on one by accident, I'll reset so we can make sure we get the skill point.
Good job, Spyro. One day you'll be able to tell all the dragons about your amazing adventures.
Sure, but what I'd really like to do is get out of this swamp.
Alright, well, so Spyro ain't like the swamp either. These guys all seem, they have a certain degree of chilled outness to them. Like, I think they're supposed to be like Bayou folk or something like that is the idea behind. Everyone's got kind of that Louisiana drawl to their voice. So we'll wait this one out. I think this might be our last one, actually. We'll have to see once we hop up here. We may have like one or two more. Okay. Got one or two more. Can we make this? I believe we can, yeah. Perfect. That's gonna be our last one. We should pop the skill point right here. Perfect. And as you notice, we got every gem up to this point, but we're not done yet. Oh, I lied. We missed one. We'll go ahead and grab that. The rest of the world is up on these pillars. And there you go. Sparks can get his butterfly as well. Perfect. So I'm gonna hop back over to this platform. Thank you for the hop, Spyro. Notice we got a couple platforms over here. A little well hidden, but we gotta make some long glides here in a second to make sure we get it. I'm gonna line myself up a bit. Over here to the left. For these ones, you definitely want to make sure you hit the highest jump possible, which, as we learned from the beginning, is done at the very top of our jump. So while we're waiting for the rockets to go, they're going to pop open all these additional chests. And there you can see there's one down there towards the very beginning that we'll want to grab before we go, but we'll need to collect this one first because that's up a little higher. So now we can drop down with impunity. Like the firework up, now take out the last one. And that should be Terrace Village 100%. If not, we missed a... Oh, looks like I missed a 10 piece, but Sparks is saying it's a long way, so we'll snag it. A little above us. I must have just missed a few little ones. Oh, right there. Not too bad. Easy peasy. Alright, so that's Terrace Village 100%. And so we will go up to the ending point. Technically, if we wanted to, it would still count as complete if we went ahead and just teleported out, but get y'all the real experience of what it'd be like to go through these games. And if you weren't to get the whole thing, you would have to fly and jump your way all the way to the end. Here we go. We'll go ahead and head on out. That's Terrace Village. Alrighty. So we're gonna go ahead and our next portal's not too far away. We're gonna cross this little bit of the bog. And since we got our first skill point, our next one is gonna be at the boss, so we don't have to worry about skill points for a while. So, there's not much over this way, but let's go ahead and break up our regular levels and hop over here. Snag a dragon.
Spyro, it's great to see you, but I gotta go.
That guy is one of my favorite dragons in the whole game. It's just like, it's good. Glad, thanks. It's not a thank you for releasing me, so we're not putting that one on the counter. But it's close. It's really close. But pretty much it's just like, oh, thanks. Bye. I gotta go. One of the best lines I think they recorded. Alright. Oh, this one. So, we're gonna hop down this well. And so the first well was full of water. This one was certainly not. And we got wild flight. Check to make sure there's no gems back here. Yep, we'll break it up. We'll just go ahead and do wild flight next. That'll be our flying world for this Peacemakers. Alright, roll on into it. Alright, y'all. So, try that again. We're gonna get the chests first. And we'll try and snag all the flying guys while we're in here as well. Try and hit them all on the same route. We'll go backwards through here, so we can take out these guys. Check the last one right here. Get those to the chests. Reverse our way through the flyers. We should run into our last one right now. Perfect. We'll fly down here and we'll collect the last chests on our way out. We'll take out the boats. Decided to switch the route up a little bit from the one we were using previously. I kind of like this one a little better. Definitely lets us have enough time to finish the level with a lot. We should hit our last boat relatively easy. Oh, we already got it. I didn't even notice. We finished with the time at 58.7. Definitely a lot of time to spare. Take the whirlwind up and we'll make our way over to Misty Bog, which will be the area we passed by before going into this one. Said we were going to take a break, but thought we deserved a little flying section there. So we'll hit Misty Bog next. Alright. We're going to run into a couple of... This area has some of the more different level design, I would say. I believe there's actually a achievement in this area as well. If I happen to accidentally not get it, I'll come back and I'll fit that in towards the end when I do like a little cleanup if need be. Some of the achievements require their own like run through of the level, so a lot of them you can get kind of normally, but I want to make sure we get as much as we can on the first run around. And I'll make sure to let y'all know if we miss anything. These enemies are some of my least favorite, honestly. When on the original, I know I always talk about the original, but it's my frame of reference. The original, they used to... Oh, I didn't remember even hitting that. The original, those guys would have a very fast wind-up time, or very fast wind-up time, so they would shoot their little tongues out. You didn't even see them have a chance to do it there, but they would shoot their little tongues out and hit you before you could even see them doing it sometimes, which I could never tell. Oh, I got him, but he ate me too. How does that work? Got spat out of a nothing belly. Alright. We have blue sparks, but that's fine. We can go ahead and keep on going. Grab a dragon.
Be on the lookout for attack frogs. They are cold-blooded killers.
Attack frogs?
And this used to be such a nice swamp.
Alright. So there's a couple places we can go. We'll head over here first, because this is pretty out of the way for the rest of the level. Snag the little gems over here and knock out the enemies. That's it. We'll go more towards the level proper. We have two routes. We can go to the right, we can go to the left. We'll need to go to both to make sure we get all the gems though. I'm gonna try and hit the left up first. As y'all saw there too, like I had said, I'm gonna hit the left up as first like I just said, but I wanna go ahead and grab this treasure first. Just so we can make sure we get it. He's over here waiting for some dinner. I think that's actually the skill point right there. Or not the skill point, I apologize. It's the, that would be the, what do you call it? The achievement. The achievement. Alright, so here's some of those attack frogs I was just talking about. They are cold-blooded killers. You see, they shoot their tongues out very quickly. In the original, they would do maybe like one little ribbit and then they would immediately jump out at you, but this hallway used to eat your lives up sometimes. They would have. You see how many frogs they loaded up with. They have Norks, they have frogs. Now I believe you can just jump over it, but originally the enemies didn't have really the hitbox on it was pretty insane, so you could just like smack from like across the level. Damn near like.
Thanks for releasing me. It seems like I've been trapped in here since I was your age.
Oh no!
Why, I remember,
Gotta go!
Okay. And that guy does not count towards the thanks for releasing me. Thanks for releasing me is only for the ones that are extremely short and they say the one little blurb and that's it. I know I'm getting into semantics here, he did say it, but I only count that for the dragons that they didn't have anything interesting to make them say. So they just kind of say something generic. I think we're already up to 4 if I counted correctly. I don't know if you saw that we added a timer in the last one. Oh, we need to get a chicken. Sure. Gonna have a... Don't got any sparks right now. That could be a problem. Grab as much treasure as we can. I'm not worried about the Norts, to be honest. I'm more worried about the little shufflers back there. Got him. Okay, perfect. And I don't think we've actually lost sparks throughout the playthrough, except for like one section, but as you notice, Spyro will not innately pick up treasure. I know it's really late to be discussing that, but he won't innately pick up treasure, which is kind of interesting. Sparks is the one who will like ping the treasure into you. And as you can see, I'm pressing the button and Sparks doesn't pop up because he's not here.
thank you for releasing me.
Alright, that's a proper thank you for releasing me, so I'm going to throw that on the counter. Yeah, that was a death. I kind of knew I was going to die there. No big deal, we'll hop right back into it with a full of sparks. Actually, that warthog, I totally missed it. But, or you guys actually saw it, I kind of looked away for a second, but the warthog will go right through and beat and kill all the enemies for us. So he killed 2 frogs and a Nork as he was passing by to get to us. This one will do it too. Sometimes the enemies, like we saw in the beginning, they'll form coalitions to try and beat up on Spyro. You got Norks jumping on the big animals, and this one, pigs will go right through them. He went for it. I saw him trying. Couldn't line himself up. Alright. We'll snag all the treasure down here, and then we have a special area we need to go to. We'll go ahead and grab the last dragon. Well, let's save the dragon for last, because we will have to come back here. Got a little pyramid over here. You do some tricky flying over. You almost made me jump off there. Okay, we got this treasure up here. And we got Sparks back so he can tell us where our treasure is, but we already know it's over here. The little jump that Spyro does now is definitely helpful. A couple of these I definitely would have missed. nice little row of enemies that you get got. That's it. We're gonna go for a risky fly, trying to get over here and nab the dragon on the way down. We do it. Yes.
I'll tell you what to do with those creatures. Smash them, Spyro! Stamp them out and squish them and squash them!
How about charge them and flame them? We are dragons after all.
Alright. That's Misty Bog 100%. I've actually never seen that before, so if you exit Misty Bog, a lot of times it used to just put an enemy right there in front of you, one of these little pigs, and you could just take a hit. So it could just, like, if you ended the level with no sparks, you could just instantly die. But it looks like they took that part out. If I remember correctly, actually, there is a skill point for taking out these blue mushrooms. So we'll go ahead, or I'm sorry, not a skill point, I keep calling it that. There's a an achievement for taking out the blue mushrooms. You can see there's one up there. Go back to the beginning real quick and make sure that there's not any up here. I don't think that there are, but give us a chance to snag a butterfly for sparks. Help our buddy out. He's hungry. We got our get retribution. Killed the what you call it? Killed a little chicken on his plate. But it's alright if we don't get the mushrooms right now. Like I said, I'll do a cleanup episode towards the end where we go through, we got all the achievements, and we can just check the achievement list also while we're there. I think it resets them once I go into each of the levels too. No skill points in this one. We're going to be going in treetops. Well, you'll see a pretty intense use of supercharge in this one. This is one of our final uses of supercharge, so definitely get your fill out of it in this level. Okay, so as you can see, the main objective of treetops is that we had a thief that started at the level waking all the enemies up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out that thief. We'll have to wait for a minute though. We have these little, they look almost like proto-humans. You can see one of their bananas flying off. But they'll do a big old kick to our face if we get too close to them. These big ones, and the small ones will throw a banana. So there's one of the thieves. If we get too close to him, he's going to wake everybody up. So what we can do though, as you can see, we can actually jump in these little holes. We can jump in here. Take out one of the little dudes. Grab ourselves a key. And that key, if you didn't get it early, will actually be in the area where we just saw that thief. There's a little chest down there. This level has a lot of backtracking in it, the way it's made, supercharge, and how all the islands are separate from one another. You can see there's lots of dead space between all of these. And you can fly over, or you can like get around, but other ways, we'll see some of those other ways in a minute now. We're going down the path proper. You can see we could easily go over there in the level in like 2 minutes, wouldn't take any time at all. We're going to go the long way and make sure that we get every little thing.
Greetings, Spyro. For an amazing tour of the treetops, don't just stop at one supercharge.
And there our big old dragon friend is telling us the level's gimmick. That is, while we have the one supercharge right here, I'll show you in a second. We also have another one over here. And we have one right here. So we're going to have to figure out what combination of supercharge linking we need to do to get to every single place. We're going to stop here though so we can get all the treasure. And if need be, I'll do a little bit of cutting so we can get all the pieces together. We don't want to stay in here for too long. As you can see too, there's a little hidden ramp to the left of where we came in, which will shoot us over to that dragon. That's one of the main tricky parts of this level, is trying to get towards that dragon and trying to get towards the end of the level. Very tip top of the level. You can also really easily miss that chest as well, so it's good you got it on our first try. Alright, we won't come back to this platform again, so that's good. Fly on over here. Take all the treasure at the very end. I'm going to try and make this glide up to the very top here be our last one. And what we can do is it spawned a whirlwind for us now. And we can take this to this supercharge over here. Well, we can't go supercharge backwards. We can use that as it begins supercharging in other direction, if need be. See, we still have this key. Can't open this up, but if we went through right here, we would be able to. For now, we're going to fly all the way back towards the very beginning and start doing some fancy supercharging. We can go all the way through here. I'll go to the very, we'll go ahead and go to that path that we didn't go down really fast. In the introduction where that thief jumped over. We want to spawn the thief in the place where he actually ends at as well. That's kind of important, because otherwise we have to go back and make him go, and we don't want that. Yep, so we'll snag the chest for the key. Chicken ain't liking us. Grab this. I want to grab this blue gem really fast just to make sure we get it. A little bit outside the level popping. Grab our second of 3 dragons.
Spyro, if you jump at the end of a supercharge ramp, you can really go far.
I'm all over it.
Yep. All these dragons got a little bit of a drawl to them, so kind of funny. We have some family in the Tennessee area and stuff. Not exactly Louisiana or anything like they're trying to go for here, but kind of still reminds me of the surrounding area. So, we have a couple of fancy supercharges to get to, and I will cut back over when we get to where we're trying to get to. So, yep, make a quick cut right here, and we'll see you guys when we get to the supercharges we need to be at. Alright, so we're going to try for that one on the far left over here. And use a couple of ramps to get there. There we go. Nice, so we can take out the thief. He's pretty slow, he only has a gem. We definitely don't want to take the whirlwind yet. Make sure we get all this stuff on each of the little islands before we fly back over. We'll get our last dragon. Yeah.
That was quite a ride, Spyro. You learned a lot since you were a young glider.
Yeah, well, you could have found an easier spot to get stuck.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Spyro does have a point. These guys get themselves in some really awkward position. Let's survey a little bit. I believe our next one has to be over towards that way, and we have to somehow find a way to catapult ourselves very, very fast, very, very high. So I'll go ahead and hop back out, and I will get back with you guys when I get to the one we gotta get to. Let's give this one a shot. And there we go. Definitely make sure we stop. Nearly flew right off there. And this should be all the treasure. Yep. That's high treetops. All done. This level is definitely one of the ones where if you take a minute on, don't feel bad. It takes me a second to sometimes remember the routes too, but essentially like you had seen, in front of each of the dragons, there is a, when they're free from their crystal, they'll leave a spawn point that you can use. Each one of the dragons is at the top of the supercharge. All you have to do is make sure you follow each of the dragons that's at the top of a supercharge down through more of a, I showed you in the video, but that path that I showed you, you can touch the dragon spawn point and you can just keep trying, fall off the edge if you need to, and just respawn yourself until you get the right path and right trajectory you need for it. Alright, let's go ahead and head out. Our next order of business is going to be crossover in the second half of the world. Roll on over there, make sure we got all the treasure. Like I said, we're going to be aiming to get that last little red piece in front of the balloonist as our last piece of treasure that we collect in the entirety of the area. We'll be hitting up, collecting all the treasure along the way as well, so. I know I haven't been asking in the previous parts, but if you guys are actually enjoying this, go ahead and appreciate if you guys leave a like or anything like that. Pretty cool. It's helps me gauge if the series that I'm picking and stuff like that are stuff people really want to see and like what direction I should take the content in. I'm still pretty new to the YouTube game, so right now I'm kind of trying to find my way. So I'm always pretty good at 100% in games whenever I get them, especially platformers. These are like my jam. Oh, and just real quick, we'll complete this little, make sure we get everything up here first. This little blue mushroom. I'm definitely thinking those are an achievement now. That little red one's going to be our last piece. And we actually see a red one over by a treetop, so we missed. Just good that I saw that from up here. Get a nice vantage on the whole area. Fly over, grab ourselves the key to that chest we passed by that I didn't commentate on. Might die. Oh, no. Spyro Flutter. Saves lives. Pop this. Oh, the smorgasbord. Alright, that'll leave us with one treasure in the entire world. And that's that one by the balloonist. So effectively, we're already 100% with this area. The only thing we got left is the boss, Metalhead. We'll see him, but we have a achievement, a skill point in this area as well. Welcome to Metalhead, everyone. This is Metalhead Castle. You can see there's little nodes up there that are drawing electricity. Spyro's view. We got all these pillars above here. Like I had said in the earlier levels, oh, and this is kind of more coalitions of enemies. They're gonna hit their, got little tin cans and little tin cans and pots and pans on their heads and stuff like that. So he's using them as a projectile now. We didn't get hit by him, but these enemies would have kicked us if we had gone by. So it's combining their kicking ability with the little guys being little and cannonball-esque. And since they're wearing metal armor now, we actually have to flame only the big ones. We originally could flame the small ones, but now they've kind of adapted to our tactics. What trips up a lot of people about Metalhead is that while it's a pretty linear level if you really look at it, and this is always kind of tricky, that you have to deal with the enemies kind of changing up what they do. It messes with your schema with the level as taught you at the beginning. Is that this level seems really linear, but when you really look at it, it's actually not linear almost at all. There's a lot of hidden to the undergrowth of this area. We're gonna put two of these guys out. Just time it just right. Oh, there you go. You have to see when the kicks. Did it totally intentionally, just so you guys can see the kicks. You know, no worries. See the bananas over there. Just lets us know that for some reason there. Oh, there he is. Dodge it. Oh. I'm gonna leave the dragon just for a second. and explain where a lot of people can get tripped up in this area. So as you can see, there's a little grates. Oh, that was silly of me. I was pulling the camera. Alright. I had a really random death there. And now I'm taking hits like a boss. So, we don't need to kill all the enemies to get back to where we were, but as you can see, down here there's this little grate with a hole in it. This is where a lot of people get tripped up on Metalhead, from what I could remember when I was first playing through the game. Sometimes you gotta take a hit to make sure you get over here, just because the way the path is. Get an extra life. Makes it for the one that I ate up using, getting over here. If we hop up all these chests, hop up all these stairs, we'll find a chest. Key. We'll need that for later. We won't see that till the very end of the level. All the way on the other side is where the... Let me check Sparks, make sure. Sparks is telling us we got a couple of things up top. How are we gonna get up there, I wonder? Well, so happens we got a handy little whirlwind that will take us up to the tip top of this area. Now what we can do, we can glide all the way over to this far platform. And that's this first area done. See, over here we have a big boss arena, Frankenstein monster looking sort of thing going on, so that's our next destination. Try and make it through without fighting a bunch of the enemies if we can. Grab our dragon so we get our skill point, our checkpoint, sorry. We'll go ahead and grab the dragon. Get beat up here.
Metalhead is all charged up to meet you. Attacking the power pole should disrupt his power supply.
This dragon's teaching us about Metalhead's big gimmick. So, explain the boss real quick. So, as you can see, you got these power poles that he was just talking to us about. And they're red, they're electrified, and we can't actually hit them or we'll take damage. As you can see up there as well, above Metalhead, we have little boss helpers that are going to try and impede us as we go through and knock these poles out with our charge. Skill point in this area is to beat Metalhead without taking any damage at all. For that reason, I'm actually going to get a hit on me so that I can have no sparks. This area is pretty notorious for being, I had trouble with it my first time through this game, and generally it's always been hard for me to no-hit Metalhead, so I'm going to put a cut right here potentially if we have to go back and try this a couple times, but I always find it easier to just take no sparks in so that you can't actually beat Metalhead unless you beat him 100% no hit. Come on, man, hit me. Alright, y'all, and there's our no hit for Metalhead. I went kind of quiet there just because I took a couple deaths to him just because, like I said, you go in with no sparks, you're gonna die probably a couple times just because you saw he's throwing enemies at you, he's doing all this craziness trying to beat you. We need to go back and collect a couple gems. We still have no sparks, so that will cut if we die, and we'll just start collecting. Metalhead won't respawn, thankfully, and we actually beat most of his mobs that he brought in with him. Yeah, definitely one of the trickier ones. I actually beat him pretty quickly. I always think that this boss has 3 phases, and he doesn't. He only has the 2. But as you saw, he'll actually break his own pillars in the remake. I don't believe in the original he did that. I think if I remember correctly, the enemies would just phase right through it. So there we go. Like I said, there's that chest that we need the key for. And it's gonna take an extra second just because we don't have sparks, so gotta make sure we collect every little thing, like these little 1 pieces that are just hanging out in the corners. I see you. They think I don't see them, but I do. Wish it would give me a little chicken hopping around here. That'd be nice. Yeah, I don't believe there's enemies in this area. Yeah. Yep, like I said, take an extra second because we don't have sparks, but no big deal. Pop out here, check this little area. Sure ain't nothing over here. And there it is. We'll want to make sure we grab that. We only need 5 more treasure. That should be right over here. I always find this jump a little tricky, to be honest. I'm not sure why. Spyro's little flutter saving us again. Alright, that's Metalhead 100% and the skill point. Alright, our kingdom for a chicken. We got our sparks back. Nice. Flame that. So, as I had said, last little piece we have is right there in front of the blueness. We'll go ahead and mark that as complete. So, look at our guidebook. We got Beastmakers, Terraced Village, Misty Bog, Treetops, Wild Flight, and Metalhead, all 100%. And we have Terraced Village and Metalhead skill points. So we'll go ahead and talk to the blueness and make our way over Dreamweavers.
Oh, I feel much better now that so many dragons have been rescued. Jump in the balloon, and I'll show you the Dreamweaver's world. Are you ready to go?
And there's our 8,000. Getting close to the end. Alright, buddy. So here we are in Dreamweavers. We got a goofy looking dude over here dancing for us. So we're going to cut it here. We did Beastmakers in the last part. And in the next part, we are going to go ahead and go through Dreamweavers. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate you guys watching. Any likes, comments, appreciate everything. Any follows. As I'm saying, I'm streaming these parts on Twitch. So if you want to come by and see them in the making, see all the flubs and all the deaths and stuff like that, you're definitely welcome to. All my socials, JP Fire Pledge, catch Twitter for any updates when I go live. So, alright, I'll be heading out, and I will see you guys later. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.